Hey everybody, welcome to Culture Doom. This is episode 405. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Brendan.
My name is Alex. How you doing, everybody? Cats and kittens. Which is funny because you say Eric and Liz interchangeably.
Oh, that's Freudian. Weird. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Liz about what to get you for your birthday.
Oh, and gosh. That's coming up? That's a month away.
And I said to her, I have the perfect idea for what to get Alex for his birthday finally. And then I texted you and I said, who's your favorite waifu? And you were like, Ritsu from K-On! And I said, I can't get a Ritsu body pillow for Alex. Erica would not be happy with this, to have this show up. Because I showed the pillow to Liz, and Liz was like, how old is this character? And I'm like, animation has no age. Erica, God. I can't remember what woman I'm arguing with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, in the show, she's this old, but I mean, honestly.
Well, her actor who does the voice is like 35.
She's like in her 30s.
So, I mean, do you just... Never mind. I can't make this argument very convincingly.
No. If your anime waifu is underage, you're a sick creep and should be locked up.
So it was back to the drawing board for what to get you for.
I always imagine whenever somebody says the term back to the drawing board, like they actually go to a drafting table and they have the little light on, they sit in the chair and they're like, all right.
Well, that's what I meant. No idea. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? It turns into especially when I'm buying gifts for you, it turns into more of a conspiracy theory board.
Mm-hmm. You become Charlie Day.
It's like, this is what he wants.
We have a drafting board in the shed in the backyard. Erica? Yeah, it was one that she had in her apartment back in college. She was able to do like sketches and drawings on and stuff like that. And I would actually use it. We had it in the apartment. It was in the second bedroom, and that's where I would like go there and sit and just work on my models and stuff like that. And it was nice. Now it's been in there since we.
Alex and his wife used to have hobbies. Now they have children.
Yeah, our children are a hobby now.
That's a good hobby to have. I mean, once they exist, you probably should invest time and effort and money. They are hobbies.
Yeah, they are hobbies.
How's the model kits going these days?
That Wing Zero's been sitting there now for like 2 months. I've gotten all the sprues out of the bags. I haven't sat down and done anything because I'm like, usually I just sit and watch like YouTube or listen to a podcast or something. And every time I've kind of had a chance to do it, I just fire up Red Dead and I'm like, I'm going to go and shoot a couple of deer and then skin them and sell them to the
what we could do, Alex, is revive the Let's Build project. And
oh no, my skills are terrible. Okay. I do not want to be critiqued by it. Especially this is like a Verkov.
I was going to say, so leave a comment and hit that like button if you want to see Alex up building his model.
There are way better people that do it. Because here's the other problem. I don't have an actual airbrush paint kit. So all the models I built have just been snipped and then, put together.
Oh,
they're just snap kits. Like I haven't painted them yet. No, mostly because I need to get paint and stuff like that.
It's okay. I figured, you know what? I just cut it out anyway at this point. So
okay.
So it. We go back to the old school.
Because isn't it something where YouTube recently put some new rules where it's like you can't swear?
They get fucking weird if you fucking swear too fucking much in too little of a fucking time. So fuck that shit. I was just like, we used to be hardcore, Alex, and now look at us.
Yeah. We used to record in your car.
Well, we used to
off of a Sony camcorder.
We used to talk about incendiary bullshit, and now we talk about world cuisine. Yeah. Sorry, I had to go. I was going down the list of
review your notes. No, but I was thinking about this recently and about how YouTube. I was watching Weezer's Pork and Beans video. Because it's like my favorite Weezer song, which is kind of funny because it's much later on, like in the late 2000s. And about how they had all these viral videos. They had the history of evolution of dance guy in there. They had Numa Numa guy. They had the backflip kung fu nunchuck guy that whacked himself in the head and stuff. They had the Mentos bottle guys, and the beauty pageant queen who doesn't know how to answer questions. And these are all these great viral videos that kind of made YouTube become what it is, off of like just goofy, meme worthy, viral videos. And it's like the site itself now does not have any type of identity like that. Now it's just gossip and
say drama channels. That's what we need to be doing.
React channels, and which were tried to be copyrighted or something like that. So it's just like all those, like, what is the most like recently meme worthy video and stuff that they have on there? It's like that stuff's all like, it's all memory hold on the same website. You can't even find half of this stuff, especially since I was but complaining to you about how YouTube doesn't even allow you to search or filter by oldest videos on somebody's channel
that is
anymore.
strange.
It's just recently uploaded and popular. And more often than not, as a channel grows, some of the channel's more popular videos happen to be the more recent ones, or things about big current events.
They don't want you.
It's silly why they
don't want you to look at that stuff. They want you to look at the current. They make it as difficult as possible to look at old content, unless, and this is something that really is on a responsibility, especially now that we've been doing the video stuff, is making a playlist that correctly organizes your videos in proper order. Like that's a godsend for a lot of videos that are in reverse. Like it'll be newest videos first and oldest videos last. No. I want to see chronological order, and a lot of channels don't do that, and they should have. And now it's too late because nobody wants to sit back and do all of that stuff again. So we're a couple of weeks into 2023. And on New Year's Eve, I was having a conversation about watching the ball drop in New York. And because I was sort of like, I never watched the ball drop. That's not really part of my tradition. And I know it's, for some reason, a lot of other people's traditions that are on Eastern time zone. So I don't know why that is. But as we were discussing it, the topic came up about using bathrooms at Times Square. And I just kind of naively said, well, they must have, like porta potties out there or something. And they were like, no, there's nothing. And I said, well, there has to be something. And they said, yeah, they're all wearing diapers out there. And I was like, no, there's like cute girls standing there. There's not, like, this isn't just like thousands of people pissing together. Turns out I was wrong, and it is 1,000 people pissing together, because I immediately looked into this on my phone and found this article from the New York Post titled New Year's Eve in Times Square sounds like a urine-soaked hell.
It's like that every time of the year.
True. That's
except there's
New
no
York.
ball, so.
New York sounds like a urine-soaked hell. That's not true. I've been to New York. New York is not a urine-soaked hell. But they do have the unfortunate situation of not having alleys the way Chicago does. So
what are their alleys?
They don't have
like?
Alleys. They just have trash.
Oh, they don't?
You don't know this? This is like the standard complaint Chicagoans
They just put that
have.
stuff on the curb?
This is the standard complaint about New York that Chicagoans and Midwestern people have, because we always flaunt our beautiful alleyways in front of New York City.
Our town, Philo's got alleys.
Look at the smugness in that motherfucker's face when he said that. So basically this just goes into the reality is that the restaurants and stores won't let people use their bathrooms because, of course not.
Okay.
The city can't possibly put enough bathrooms in the area for the people. So two things happen. People wear freaking diapers and go to the bathroom standing there surrounded by strangers. Okay. Or they do everything just on the street. And
Yeah, I'd imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, there are no porta potties, and local businesses turn away revelers in need.
So how long are these people like standing out there?
13 hours.
Jesus.
The author, she and some guy. This is interview. Caitlin Wallet, 24-year-old, spent 13 hours in Times Square. So, yeah, lots of people peeing in the street. One of his friends go up and urinate in the street, adding, "I've heard stories of people who wear adult diapers." So while you're watching all these people in their fancy New York New Year's Eve attire,
with their year glasses,
yeah, they're like two.
Which used to be a lot easier with like the 2000s. Now you have like a 1,
Really
and now it's like a
gets in the
2.
way.
So it gets like really.
Well, you just gotta, you gotta put them in the middle. You breaks it up much more differently. But I just find that really unsettling that there's that many people, that this many people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
How? I mean,
imagine the smell.
Isn't this outrageous?
This is like this giant.
This is an.
It reminds me of like the orgy rave scene from Matrix 2, where you could just sit there and be like
getting sprayed with random shit in your face.
Yeah, probably whatever was on the ground that seeped into like the sewage, and they're just like, oh, just shit about that.
I find this to be a national disgrace.
Yeah, because it's like Times Square's New York ball drop. Like, I don't even know if anybody else has a ball drop because they probably copyrighted it or have a
New York City has a
trademark or something
ball
like
dropping.
Yeah,
but I mean, if this is something that is world famous and that people watch on TV, across the nation and in other countries, and while all of this festivity is happening, you have a bunch of adult humans urinating all over themselves,
pants,
each other, and the city.
Well,
if not, and that's not to say anything about the poop situation.
Yeah, it's true. Well, at least in this case, like, I think that if Liam Neeson was to join in with the New Year's revelry, he would be perfectly
welcome with
at
open
home.
arms. Are those photos
yes.
real? Those photos can't be real.
From what I've heard, supposedly.
I don't believe it. He's way too casual.
I want
to believe.
Well, he's very casual in those pictures.
He just goes walking up and down the streets of London looking for somebody to pee on.
Well, he's all. I mean, he is Irish, so he's probably just hitting the bars here, and just.
No, I was referring to that his incendiary comment about looking for a black guy to get into a fight with. It's like I was just walking the streets up and down, just looking for somebody to start something. It's Irish. Can't trust the Irish.
Savage Irish.
Dear Lord. Speaking of the savage Irish, Alex, I don't know why I switched away from Bowser because we have to go right back. Are you familiar with I know you're familiar with the whole AI art thing. You actually tricked me with the Return to Oz images.
Because I got tricked with it. Because it looked like it was they looked like it was a movie that was being made by the guy who did The Cell.
Oh, Tarsem?
Tarsem, yeah. Because I saw that, I was like, oh, this looks like he could be doing this. But then I found out it's not real. But I was like, I want to see this movie though. I want somebody to feed all this stuff into an AI and let the AI spit this out. 100-minute runtime and just see what happens.
So this is a story about art philosophy, but also a story about Reddit hell, which is one of my favorite topics because I desperately hate Reddit and across the board. The only subreddit that I have not hated was actually the Chicago Cubs subreddit. So, all I do on Reddit is post about the Cubs.
Death by Snoo
Death by Snoo Snoo. That's the name of the subreddit. So I don't know what that means.
I'll tell you later.
I mean, I know Death by Snoo Snoo from
Family Friendly.
Well, Death by Snoo Snoo is from Futurama. But what's that have to do with the subreddit? Is that
There's pictures.
Is that a real subreddit? Oh, I thought you were being flippant.
No.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll look at that later. We'll look at that while we're uploading the episode. Anyway, back to this. So what happened was an artist did this composition, A Muse in the War Zone, and posted it to the r/art subreddit, where it was promptly taken down and the user banned because they claimed that this was AI generated.
Because they couldn't tell that. That's probably because it's like so good.
Well, they said that it had the aesthetic of being AI generated. Which, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Which is funny because that looks very much like what modern
fantasy art,
Wizards of the Coast artwork looks like for both Dungeons and Dragons and Magic.
When I heard about this, I was assuming that this would have a much more deliberate AI influenced aesthetic. I don't think that
more of like a dreaminess.
I don't think that this looks very AI generated at all.
No, honestly, it looks like somebody just drew this via some program.
He was banned by the moderator for it looking like AI art. After reaching out to the moderator of the subreddit, he was given I won't editorialize this response. I don't believe you. Even if you did paint it yourself, it's obviously an AI prompted design that it does. It's so obviously an AI prompted design that it doesn't matter. If you really are a serious artist, then you need to find a different style because A, no one is going to believe you when you say it's not AI, and B, the AI can do better in seconds what might take you hours. Sorry, it's the way of the world. I love Reddit.
That is the most pretentious. Oh God, what is this? Is this like the Eye of Sauron?
Looks like it. I mean, okay. So what's it say? A Muse in the War Zone. It probably took, inspiration from a million different things.
Dude, this seriously looks like it's artwork from like whatever is on a Magic card nowadays. It's like the clothing and stuff. It looks like it would be like Theros block, which is like ancient Greek mythology.
The feedback from the editor would be like, get rid of the Eye of Sauron and just fill that in with some more clouds because I don't want to get sued. And then we'll put it on a Magic card. It'll be called a Murder of Crows. That's what we'll call the card or something. And there's nothing significant.
Murder of Crows, that would be good. Yeah, I could imagine. I'm already thinking about what the mechanics of that would be.
Get at me, Wizards of the Coast. I'll write your cards for you. Or will. Excuse me. We're partners. We'll write the cards.
Yeah. But it's funny. I mean, I'm going back to Magic again, but over the past decade and a half, I would say now, where this artwork, like you can definitely tell, it's hand drawn, but it's all done with on a computer digital, program and stuff like that. Yeah, it's all digital. But what's unfortunate, where years ago they used to have the artists, you could definitely tell whose artwork belonged to what artist and such like that. And they were all kind of within the same constraint about like Ice Age block. It was Scandinavian, cold weather stuff. Mirage block had like African, North African type of theming to it and stuff. Now in the more recent ones, they all look very similar, as if they're all done by the same person. There's little differences between it, but they've become so constrained as to how they have to do that. This definitely looks like something like that, which I wouldn't be surprised if they just have AI do that.
So my question to you, and we'll come back to this because there's a little bit of a story arc here, is the underlying controversy here is that AI-generated art isn't art, doesn't qualify as art, okay? And so a bunch of artist-centric websites like ArtStation, I think, is one of them, and then subreddits have all banned AI-generated art. How do you feel about the idea that the AI-generated imagery does not qualify as art?
I don't know. It's kind of like is the argument of like, are video games art?
Right.
Because here with this, it's more like, I don't know how you can ban it and say, okay, if this guy's going and saying I actually drew this, then there's no way that they can see. It's more like it gets to this point where it's like they have to be able to prove that it's AI art. They can't just because something looks like it might have been generated by AI does not automatically mean that it should be discredited, because a lot of people, they kind of just have that style of that's how they do their artwork and stuff. And if you're going to tell somebody who's been doing this for 10 years, you can't do the style anymore. They're like, but this is how I do it. It's like telling, Jackson Pollock, you can't make that type of artwork anymore. You have to do actual landscapes. And he's like,
even to me, I would, where I would draw the line, because I'm looking at the images that we were talking about of the AI generated Return to Oz imagery, and
that looks awesome.
And I want that movie, and it looks really cool. And then you kind of sprinkled in here, these are screen grabs from the actual film, right? Mm-hmm. And I would say that AI generated imagery qualifies as art. I would not say that it qualifies as a painting. I would not say that it. Right. I think that if somebody posted the original creator who did these AI renderings, posted it to photography or posted it to painting, no, AI generated imagery does not belong in those subreddits, and I could see that clearly why those subreddits would want to immediately cut that off and say, no, you can't post this. As something as general as r/art.
Yeah, which means the entire.
You're cutting yourself off from a lot of really interesting mediums if you start dictating what mediums qualify as art or what don't.
Yeah.
Now you can say something like, we only let AI images be posted on Fridays or something like that.
Or maybe create, here's an idea, guys. Make a subreddit that's just for that.
So they take it there or whatever. But like, I don't like saying that AI renderings don't qualify as art, because like I said, I think that cuts you off from a lot of interesting work that could be done from a completely different tool set and style of artist, because a lot of this is more like engineer-minded people, code-minded people.
You remember when we were kids and they had the 3D art where you had to stare at like the center of the picture, and then you would see like the image kind of in almost like your peripheral or something, the way it kind of worked out, and like that was considered art at the time, but that was clearly done by a computer in some capacity. This is just an exceptionally more advanced version of that. That's funny. 1985 screen grab. But yeah, I don't think like I'd like to see the other type of art that's on there, because it just makes me like, when it comes to pretentiousness on both Reddit and 4chan in terms of what is considered, what all their pretentiousness, it looks like the kind of garbage that gets sold down at Artist Alley at conventions. And it's like, just show me yours and I'll show you mine,
So this is the top
young adult
this
comic.
Is the top today. Let's look at the top post today. Yeah, top 24 hours.
The front page of the internet. This is what the front page of the internet.
That's what Reddit. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's Reddit. Reddit's pretentious in and of
Yahoo
itself.
is.
It doesn't need any help from from anybody.
No.
I mean, yeah, there's some nice stuff.
Right.
Kind of memey.
Okay, that looks just. That's very.
See, and here's the thing: Neon City digital art. So, how much of this is like a photo mashup?
And how much of that has been digitized?
Yeah,
and,
that's a little. Anyway, the point is all I really wanted to do was make fun of Reddit mods, because they're the worst people on the planet, and Reddit should burn in hell. That's just
how many? Do you have any idea as to how many subreddits exist on there?
Subreddits? Like subreddits? I don't know. I don't know.
Like tens of thousands?
More than that. Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of
probably.
thousands? Jeez.
Well, let me ask the internet. How many subreddits are there? 2.8 million.
Holy balls.
I wanted to say million, but it
Wow.
sounded like a lot, so I didn't. But I was thinking at least 1 million.
If you could combine and concentrate all the pretentiousness of those 2.8 million subreddits, we would never have an energy crisis on Earth ever
50
again.
million 50 million Reddit users. See, anything that is that successful is going to be bad. This actually goes back to a topic that we were going to talk about a couple of weeks ago and never got around to, but the value of gatekeeping. Gatekeeping gets a very bad rap, especially on Reddit. But in reality, gatekeeping has a very useful function, which is quality control. Reddit was definitely a much more interesting website about 10 years ago than it is now. Anyway, so yeah, fuck Reddit. I think that's about.
Let's see what other artwork they got there. What's the picture with the girl?
This one?
Yeah.
It's like, I could see that at like a county fair. You know?
It's
good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think it
would be right up there next to the painting of the Indian chieftain with the headdress turning into the wolf.
I've been to county fairs and they have their little. I like. It sounds condescending. They have art shows, and it's stuff like this. It's stuff like Pam from The Office's art show. It's not me. I'm not being mean. Am I being mean?
No, I know. No, yeah, no, I understand. I remember Pam's picture of Scranton.
It was fine. Ooh. Oh, wow. So the top posting of all time is about this.
Wow.
So, hey. So you got the resistance on Reddit talking shit. Putin me.
Good.
Oh, this is all penises? It looks like it's all penises. All right. Anyway.
Very original.
Very original. It's time for another round of Get to Know Your Host.
Oh.
That's a wheel of questions going around. Yeah, that's much better than me.
Or is it the beeping noise from Price is Right? It goes beep, 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 beep.
Well, you're in charge of the segment, so you let me know.
Oh. I don't know. It's I don't know. Both of them. I like the beeping, but then the other one it reminds me of Wheel of the Worst.
Do they still do the beeping on? Okay. I haven't seen The Price is Right. And who's hosting that show now?
Drew Carey took over.
Okay.
He's still doing it. Yeah, he's been doing it for 10 years now or something like that. I feel like ever since Whose Line Is It ended, he needed another TV gig, and that's
what he got.
They spayed and neutered Bob Barker, so they're like, we need somebody else, and Drew Carey fit the mold. All right, let's see. Here's a good question. What do you do with the majority of your money?
Spend it on rent? I don't know. What do you mean? What do I do with the majority of my money?
That's the question. What do you do with the majority of your money?
What do you do with it?
Use it to pay bills.
You spend it.
Yes, we spend it.
Boo!
It's kind of a stupid question. It's a stupid ass question. It's a stupid question.
What are you supposed to do with it? I mean, even if you save a lot of money, most of it's still being spent on.
Well, they always tell people like, well, you should put some away in savings or maybe in a 401k or a Roth or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's if I have money left over to go and put into spend.
I have a 401k, but I do not put a large percentage into it. Money's for
because by the time you start drawing it, you're going to be like 80 and you're going to forget that you even have a 401k.
I'm just planning on doing the whole old man mysteriously disappears from a hotel and like leaves like this. There's that story of jelly beans. There's a story of the guy who like checked into a hotel like in Ireland or something on an ocean town, And
the Irish get mentioned again.
Went and had like breakfast at the restaurant and all that stuff, and then they just disappear.
Farrell and Gleason.
And it's just some old dude with no family or anything, and just goes and kills himself on some island. You know, that's where I think that's all I want out of life is to kill myself on an island in Ireland. My point being, I don't need a lot of money when I'm 80 years old to accomplish this.
Old people really don't do much at that point. Like I always found it very funny that they always paint your retirement as, oh, you get to travel the world, and you get to do this, and you get to do that, and they have like these 70-year-olds like taking photos of bird watching and stuff. Or it's like,
Alex is going to be a 70-year-old taking pictures of bird watchers. He's going to have a giant lens spying on 20-year-olds.
Who watches the bird watchers? That's my question. But the thing is, like, no, the majority of old people, they go to the store so they can buy a single head of cauliflower.
It's an interesting
because
thing that you went to.
They don't remember why they need it. Yeah. And then they go to church, and then they come home and they watch Lawrence Welk, and they think it's a brand new episode, and Lawrence Welk is still going on.
You talk about Lawrence Welk
reruns,
a lot,
but they can't remember.
For a late 30s male. I don't know what that's all about.
You know what? Sometimes there's great television programming, and it's not the stuff that's coming out now. No, not at all. Strike up the music, the band has begun. All right, question number 2. What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done in your life?
Define adventurous. I mean, on... Probably the most adventurous thing I did was go to Gathering of the Juggalos because of how surreal and weird that was. I mean, there's various skinny dipping endeavors that have occurred in my life that could be qualified as adventurous, and that were the whims of youth that were fun, but yeah, I mean, in terms of, I never was in a situation as surreal as the Juggalos was. And it was like one of those things where it felt risky, but it also wasn't too risky. So we felt a little intimidated when we were getting things thrown at us when we arrived and we're walking around. But as it gradually got better and people got nicer to us.
The idea was more...
The first night I was like, what the hell are we doing here? We're going to get knifed. But everything, it all worked out in the end. How about you, Alex?
That's good. Probably swimming with sharks.
When was this?
This was back in 2015.
Was this Hawaii?
No, it was Florida.
Oh. You've never told me about this before.
It was both me and Erica.
We went and swam with sharks. And this has never come up in casual conversation with us since then.
No. It's like you telling me about you playing saxophone.
You are so angry about that. You reference that often as something that like outraged.
I'm just taking the piss, mate.
But I mean, okay, so you guys went like in a shark cage, or what did you guys do?
Okay, so here's the thing. So at Disney World, they have a bunch of water parks there. They have Blizzard Beach, Typhoon Lagoon. They used to have River Country that got closed. But at Typhoon Lagoon, they had this pool that you could snorkel in with sharks in it. So Eric and I went ahead and snorkeled with a bunch of sharks. Now they were like sand sharks, so they were like very docile, very scared of their own shadow type of thing.
They were the dogs of the ocean.
They're still... They're the Labrador retrievers of the ocean. So I still count it. It's still a shark. That's what the biologists say. Trust the science.
It qualifies.
You're not allowed to question it. So yeah, you get to. It was kind of cool, and I was exceptionally hungover because that was the day after I did the whole drinking thing at Epcot.
What's the drinking thing?
It was Epcot? So there's this. So Epcot is a park that's more meant for older people, as opposed to like Magic Kingdom, which got all the rides and the fun and stuff. So they have this thing at Epcot where you do this drinking around the world, where you go around the World Showcase, and at every single pavilion you have like a drink from there of some sort. So they have like, the margaritas in Mexico, or the tequila shot. Norway's got Norwegian beer. France has got the wine, so on and so forth. You go to America and you have a Budweiser.
Is this a real challenge, or is this sort of...
Yeah, they have this.
So
yeah.
they promote this.
Disney doesn't. It's not official because
I mean.
Disney is like, they can't just. But people have been doing this for quite a few years and stuff like that. So I was, and I told Erica, I'm like, I do not remember. Like the last thing I remember is that we sat down at the Land Pavilion. You got me this really good, like Asian pan beef noodles that smelled and tasted so good, but I only ate half, and I was very sad about this. And then I woke up the next morning in our hotel room. Like, I do not remember us leaving the park, getting on the bus, getting back to the hotel. Like, I don't remember anything. And it's kind of scary.
I mean...
but then we went to Typhoon Lagoon and everything was cool.
Has Erica explained what happened after you blacked out? No.
She said, she's like, you never blacked out. But, like, I don't recall.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I've been in situations where I've left the party or left the bar and don't remember saying goodbye to anyone or doing anything or getting in the Uber or whatever. So, well, at least she was there to keep you decent.
Alive. She's like, the insurance policy hasn't matured yet.
That's how people in Chicago, like especially young men apparently, end up in the lake dead. I don't understand how they all end up in the lake. I mean, I'm only a few blocks from the lake, but I'm not drawn to it when I'm drunk.
Why is everybody walking there? I remember I was a little kid and I was at, I actually saw the firefighters pulling a dude out of the lake.
This got dark.
Who had drowned in there. Yeah.
All right, next question, please.
All right, last question. Sorry. Last question is, what is your favorite smell?
Cedar. Cedar is probably my favorite smell. I like woodsy smells, so like cedar, sandalwood, like pine trees. I like wood. I like the smell of wood, Alex.
Like a hardwood? Would you say like a solid, thick piece of hardwood?
I don't like the implications of this question. I don't know. I guess pine is a hardwood. Cedar hardwood?
Pine is more of a softwood.
I don't know my wood very well.
Yeah. Oak is a hardwood. Yeah.
I can't think of oak. I can't think of the smell of oak though. I can imagine cedar. I can imagine pine. I can imagine sandalwood.
Yeah, you know what? I would imagine like a freshly coopered whiskey barrel before it's been filled. I'd imagine like that would be like the oak smell before they start doing like any like possible toasting and stuff like that. That's what it'd be. For myself, I really enjoy the smell. This is me. The smell after rain. Okay. Like after rain's finished, like, and it's cooled everything down, and it has that post-rain smell.
Like a summer afternoon rain, or like a fall rain.
Kind of like a fall, more of a fall.
Because there's a mugginess and like a pungency to summer rain. So you like the coolness of a fall rain. Gotcha.
Yeah. That kind of smell, like if I'm driving someplace, I might crack the window open just to kind of.
I also just like the atmosphere of like a late afternoon fall rain. Because it's a little bit, it's dark, but it's not black yet, and it's there's this ambience.
Sometimes kicks up. Yeah, it sometimes kicks up like some like earthiness to it too.
Oh yeah.
So that's always been.
And then like the streets are all wet, and the cars are reflecting, and the street lights reflect in the street.
It's a slickness to it. Yeah.
Brings out the color.
It's good. Like that kind of atmosphere is a very good driving weather. You know, you can just get in your car and do that. Although it's expensive to do that now because gas is $3.30.
$3.30. Gas is like $4.79 here. So.
It's like, what can I afford this week? Eggs or gasoline? And surprisingly, gasoline.
Oh, like, do the kids eat or do they get to school?
Yeah. Only one of you can eat. Only one of you can be sent to school.
Sorry, Nicholas. You just have to go to school. Speaking of wistfully, poetically discussing the weather, it's time for the Hub Year in Review stats.
Yeah. Pornhub.
This is something that we've talked about every year for like
every January.
For a long time we've done this.
Yeah. I wonder how long they've been doing this themselves.
I don't know. And I'm not going to look it up. I'm sorry. I have to be careful. I'm going to take a quick peek. Oh, wait. So we need to look at this one. Yeah, okay. This doesn't have any nudity in it, right?
I don't believe so. It just has pictures of some of the actresses.
I don't care as long as it's just pictures of their faces. Interesting. That's not a face, but I'll allow it. Okay, here we go. Hub Year in Review. To bleep that out. Hub in Review.
Year in Review. 2022 edition. Oh, it's the 9th year. Okay, so they've been dark.
We might have been talking about as long as we were on the air, we might have done every one of these. Anyway, let's talk our way through this, Senpai.
Okay, so every year we are able to go and take a look at the Hub's compiled statistics from the previous year. It's almost like they're doing their annual tax reporting in a sense, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. Our accountants have combed through the data.
Yeah. So 2022 things kind of got a little bit better from the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, this is post-pandemic.
Yeah, so they're kind of trying to return back to how things were beforehand and such.
Get
like
those
that.
numbers up.
Yep.
Pump those rookie numbers.
All right. So the number one search topic was reality. The reality category grew by 169% to become one of the top 20 categories.
What is this?
Reality.
But what qualifies as reality? I also try not to say the word too much because I don't want to cut out the word a million times in this, as I say the word 3 times in the last sentence.
I think it has anything to do by like amateurs, so not like a professional studio or actors of any sort. I think it's just mom and pop businesses.
Visitors seeking a real homemade experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess it's couples.
Can I just say that I have been pushing the amateur not even amateur, the homemade genre for 18 years. I have been pushing this genre as the genre of choice for discerning connoisseurs of adult entertainment for a long time. I need to point this out because I don't feel like I get enough credit for predicting this.
You've been the poster child.
It's like there's pictures of me.
You're the Ralph Nader of reality homemade.
Thank you. I just wanted somebody to give me kudos for calling this.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Number 2 was gender. The transgender category grew by 75%. To become the 7th most popular category worldwide. So these are searches that define 2022.
That's interesting.
Yep. Number 3 was group.
Well, wait, hold on.
Growing back.
We have to unpack this. We can't just...
Okay.
Just reading the list is not going to make for compelling entertainment from us.
So here's what's interesting. It was the number one, transgender was the number one most viewed category in Brazil and the 3rd most popular in the US and Italy.
Okay.
Yes. What's interesting about this is that the female to male searches were 8 times more popular than male to female. Men view transgender videos 22% more than women, while women view the trans male transgender subcategory 15% more.
Female to male is higher?
Yeah, higher. I'm guessing male to female has just become
female to male.
Old-fashioned or something.
Female to male.
I'm wondering it's because it's not as
trendy,
trendy, or just as popular. Maybe not as big.
Transgender surprise. This is very confusing because if we combine female to male being the top search for gender direction, and then add it to transgender surprise, they're looking for female to male surprise, meaning they pick up a guy and are surprised it has the sex organs as a female. Do you understand why this is confusing to me? So the guy is looking up ostensibly gay porn with the twist of it is a sexually female person.
Yeah, they're in that section.
I'm too old for adult entertainment now, Alex.
It says our statisticians also found that female to male searches grew 202% amongst visitors to Pornhub gay. So I guess that is the thing that kind of was the biggest driver to increase
female
that search.
To male grew 202% among visitors to porn. So it's gay men who want women, sexually women who look physically male.
I guess.
I want to meet, I want to talk to one of these people because I don't get it.
Here's what's interesting.
It's really hard.
So they say they define here, this is what's interesting. Pornhub goes on and says Gen Y visitors aged 25 to 34 view transgender videos 34% more than other age groups, as does Gen X aged 35 to 44 by 25%.
So that means that
So Hub said you and I are in Gen X now instead of being Gen Y, which is what our millennial group used to be called.
Well, the Pornhub doesn't count. Doesn't make these up. It doesn't. No, we're millennial / Gen Y. I'm sorry. We're not Gen X. I'm sorry. Just, I don't know why you're like, there's the group of millennials who are fixated on not being millennials, and you are part of that group. But
do you want to be a millennial?
Relative to
more unfortunately
Gen X,
but
I don't want to be Gen X.
Yeah.
They're all Alex. I don't care which one is which. What I'm more interested in is that what's Gen Z watching? Is that on this list?
Let's take a look.
Probably not.
I don't know. Let me see. Group sex, threesome category grew by 34%. Outdoors. After the years of COVID quarantine, people were ready to get out there in 2022.
That's hilarious.
The outdoor category grew 121%.
That is so funny to me that the normal human things deprived of normal human interaction seep their way into adult entertainment. That's amazing.
Let's see here. Number 5 was positions.
Well, see, now this kind of...
scissoring was also 46% more popular with Gen Z visitors. So that's what the Gen Z kids are watching. Scissoring.
Really?
Yeah. Number 6 was feet.
Wait a second. Positions, I don't...
Yeah.
This is a broad thing because it's not... It's multiple positions are being searched and they put it all together.
It's Amazon 69 missionary lotus spooning helicopter. And
is
cowgirl.
Amazon the one that makes my brain hurt? All of these new things make me confused.
Amazon is where basically it's almost like it's missionary, but the female is switched in positions
the
with
man
men.
has his legs open.
Yes. So that would make your head turn.
No, it does. It confuses me to see it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But why are I feel we're so out of touch with sex these days. I'm not.
Okay,
good. Well, hey. See, after the second kid, sex gets really weird in marriages.
Yeah, so number 6 was feet, by the way. Feet category was the most popular fetish term for 2022.
You are on the pulse of fetishes, Alex.
The feet category was viewed 38% more than the previous year, including a 145% increase in popularity amongst women and 10% for men. So I was contributing at least 30% of that 38%.
So far, I'm 1 for 7 femdom.
Mm-hmm. The number 7 was femdom. The bondage category moved up 3 spots to become one of Hub's top 20. Let's see. Femdom and female domination grew by 28%. Which is interesting. They along with that, they said cuck and cuckold searches grew by 18% in 2022, which is considering how that's been very big in the past several years.
Cuck Queen went up 130%, which is even more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cuckold cleanup. Alex.
We're getting old. All right, so here's really the top search.
I can talk about music and movies and art and literature and not feel completely out of touch. Sex is literally making me feel out of touch now. Literally and figuratively.
Well, there's a lot of touching in porn. So the top searches for terms for 2022, top of the list, of course, is good old hentai.
Finally, something I can relate to.
And then number 2 is Japanese, just barely. But look at that chart; like it's bare, like a whisker difference.
This is all because people can talk about the diverse group of people using Hub in 2022. The reality is clearly it's just back to the weebs.
Just weebs.
Back to the weebs.
It's just us.
Weebs own the internet. Weebs were instrumental in the construction of the internet, and it has permeated and resonates through internet culture to this day. God bless America and weebs.
Wu-Tang. And then MILF was number 3, followed by lesbian, Pine, Asian.
Pine is Filipino?
Yes.
Or Filipino?
Yeah. Filipino. Stepmom, anal, and then, threesome, Latina, ebony,
big
massage,
ass.
big tits, anime.
Just anime?
Anime is really low.
What are these, like...
Anime is so
far
from
fucking normies
Japanese.
Searching for anime on Adult Hub. Get the fuck out of here.
The anime?
Yeah, I want the anime.
You mean hentai? I don't know what hentai is. I just want anime.
Is that anime?
So yeah, there's the chart, but it's got that.
My main man Cream
then
Pie
there's
dropped one spot. Yeah,
Ooh, who did switch places with? Anime?
maybe. Well, anime dropped 2 spots. So I don't know.
And then there's most searched stars and nail.
Like Alex is losing interest in the list. He's like, there's stars and amateur models.
Abella Danger, Lana Rhodes, Angela White's number. Oh, she moved up 3 spots. Okay.
2022.
Mia Khalifa. Why is she still there?
Mia Khalifa. Hit or miss. Guess they never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I guess. No, I don't want to. We're gonna no. Stop it. We shouldn't do that. All I can think of now from that is is the video of that guy doing it in his classroom, and then there's the other kid that goes, "Bro, why?"
Bro, why?
Yeah, I like that kid. That's a good God-fearing young man, not afraid to question what's happening in front of him in a classroom.
Yeah. You know what? That one is just as good as the one about the guy There's a kid who does like the anime dance set
What's
to
the
music,
anime dance?
and then he does some move. There's a kid who does like an anime dance. You know the way they would do like the karaoke for an anime central, and he's doing a dance to the song and music, and he does something where I guess he sprains his ankle and he falls and he cries.
Oh yeah.
And it's high pitched, and then the kid just in the front seat just goes like this.
How are we? I love the weebs, and I also have so much third party shame. Like I have enough of my own first party shame, but like, there's some of the weeb videos on the internet are like, God, how did your parents let you out of the house to do this?
You know why? Is because we kind of have this understanding where it's like, you guys need to like not do this in public. This is what the cons are for, and the message boards. Keep it there. Don't expose it to sunlight, because once you do, it's a terrible thing.
Really quick, the United States, go USA. Most search terms, pretty much the standard. Hentai is number 2, though, unfortunately, which looks like it swapped places with lesbian. Not sure what that means. Never mind. I'm not going to get into it, but it's just I'm seeing a tug of war going on with search terms on the hub, and just culturally interesting to watch play out. As long as hentai stays in the top 5, everything's fine.
Yeah, I love the searches by state. Illinois had dirty talk.
Oh wait, hold on a second. I wonder if the U.S. search terms got too disturbing, if they would censor it, because like I question stepmom. Incest was like a big thing since Game of Thrones, and I put on my little conspiracy theory cap, and I look at that and say, it was just mom. It got weird, and the hub was like, stepmom. let's make it a little less weird, please. We'll do it. We'll just give everyone. We'll add step to any weird searches. So like son becomes stepson, and sister becomes stepsister for everything, so that the FBI doesn't kick in the door of the hub. Sorry, just something, some speculation. Dirty talk.
Favorite.
I don't like that at all. Are you, not to get too graphic, Alex, do you have any feelings on dirty talk?
Like JOI?
I meant just like in real life, but if you want to discuss JOI, fine. You were the only person who knew that meant the last time we did this.
I am confused. Well, the map of the U.S. is a little weird because some of the states have odd shapes. Like somehow we're like, something happened in Wisconsin.
Something happened in Wisconsin, period. Something went awry in Wisconsin.
And then Indiana's been
completely
expanding
changed
into Illinois.
The subject, so I'm going to quickly answer my own question. I do not like dirty talk. I feel like a terrible, erotic fan fiction writer, and it's like,
well, that's why Ariel on land would be perfect for you, because she doesn't.
No, but they want to hear it. I've had girls.
They want to hear it.
They want you to do it. Well, that's my point, is that I there was a girl who really wanted it, and I was really like, I don't think this is going to work, because it's like it's sexually incompatible, because I'm not going to do that. I'll write you a little short story if you want. I'll do something like that. I can write.
I'll have Spalding Gray come into the room.
And just to prove that I'm a caring lover, I actually did that. I did write a little sexy erotic fan fiction for her. I'd be curious if she actually held on to it. But
did you know that yet another the state's searches, another year goes by, and yet again
yes, sorry.
No, Utah has Mormon.
Is the search? I believe it.
Yes. I think it's like that every year.
Okay, well that's quaint, frankly. That's like, these are just like, what? Smoking. Like shower, fleshlight.
Well, it's Wisconsin. It's Washington. New Hampshire has ebony BBW.
New Hampshire. They don't allow black people in New Hampshire.
That's why it's
taboo.
Very scandalous. Yeah, especially BBW. So, Massachusetts has college. Vermont
Massachusetts has college. That does make sense. Maine representing, although I don't like anime. It could have just been, like Idaho knows what's up. Is that Idaho? Okay.
Yeah.
Like you made me question myself because you didn't acknowledge. I'm like, oh God, did I get the state wrong?
Wyoming, Colorado has goth, which is funny.
Rub. Nebraska is just like rub.
like a rib rub, like a
some
steak
guy
rub.
sitting in the middle of fucking Nebraska. You pull up Pornhub and you're like, rub. What the fuck is that? Rub penis. That's not how the internet works, guys. It doesn't do it for you.
That's great.
Sex.
Furries. Oh God, Indiana has furries.
I could see that. A lot of furries come to Anime Central from Indiana.
Well, so does Oregon.
they make the trek. Asian in California, that totally makes sense. Some of them are like dead on, and others are baffling. Fleshlight is baffling. Mm-hmm. Breast expansion, baffling. It is absolutely mystifying what these
Montana likes
I've never
leather.
heard of breast expansion. What does that mean?
You've never heard
what
of
is breast expansion?
It's basically like
you never heard of that?
It's a size. It's like size stuff. Like people who get off on like seeing like body parts like expand.
How do they do
size.
that?
More recent ones, it's more like a computer imagery and stuff.
They put them
but
in like
beforehand, it was kind of like this prosthetic things.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, good for Alaska. At least they're original.
Hey, you'd be right at home there in
It
Iowa.
totally turns into, aside from like Asian, a lot of this turns into what's like taboo. Like, what is that? North Dakota, black. There are no black people in North Dakota.
South Dakota fat asses.
There's no black people in North Dakota, and there's no fat people in South Dakota, and they just want something foreign to their experience.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kansas likes hentai also.
Kansas likes hentai. Yes, they do. But then you get into stuff that is very familiar. So like Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi,
Tennessee. New York State.
Well-timed comment. New York State.
New York State.
Dominican?
Specifically. Yeah,
that's
Dominican.
Really odd. Florida. Yeah. Florida knows what they want. How come it's BBC and
when you
BBA?
take a look at Florida, it looks like a... Yeah.
True. Florida is just consistent with its aesthetic. Smoking. That is insane. What is that, Virginia?
Yeah. I don't... PMV. What is PMV? That one I'm stumped about.
Is that... Who's trans? Is that Pennsylvania?
Oh, that's
no. I'm looking at Kentucky. No. Yeah, Kentucky. I don't know what's...
Yeah, stepmom.
On the map, what state is this? I can't... Oh, wait. Ohio?
That's West Virginia.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then this is... Hairy Pussy is Pennsylvania, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What's a GILF?
Grandmother.
All right. Did you find PMV?
Yeah, it's like
Penis motion video.
no, it's like picture motion video.
What does that even mean?
I think it's just like
Well, now I
it shows like it's like a bunch of clips, or it could be just like pictures.
PMV. Picture music video.
Yeah.
PMV.
I don't know. It just looks like videos.
Did you look
to me.
it up on Pornhub?
I guess it's like music video. I think it's just like
Okay. Well,
music videos for the most part.
Great. Well, US, you really put together a great kaleidoscope of contemporary depravity. I'm proud of each and every one of you, and here's to bright 2023. Alex has gotten lost into PMV. Anyway, Alex,
Yeah.
speaking of endearing, cute anime characters, Alex and I, for the first time in a long time, have sat down together
Several years.
and watch anime at the same time. We watch the same anime at the same time. And
Wow. Recent anime
yeah,
too.
from 2022. And we want to talk about it. So we'll talk a little bit about it in broad terms, and then maybe we'll do a little bit spoiler stuff, and then we'll talk about our final ratings. We haven't given anything pots of gold in earnest in a long time. So we watched Summertime Render, which
Or summertime.
is it Summertime Rendering? I've heard it multiple translations of this title, so I've confused myself.
Yeah. So if it's summertime render, summertime is one word. If it's summertime rendering,
It's 3 words.
it's 3 different words.
I also saw it translated as Summertime in Rendering, which sounds very Japanese to me. So, interesting fact about this anime really quick is that it was licensed, worldwide license by Disney, only distributed in New Zealand and Australia on Disney Plus, currently being held hostage from the rest of the West, from the West by Disney. Are they hiding? What are they hiding from us?
いつまでも湿っぽかったらお姉ちゃんに怒られるわ。なっくんは今日でおしまいにせな。
俺がついていながらすまんしっぺ。
私だ。そこら中にいるよ。まったく。
影の病にかかったら影を見るようになる。影を見たもんは死ぬ。
お父さん、よう言うてたわな。お皿洗って後片付け終わるまでが料理やって。私見たよ。
どういうこっちゃ。俺は7月22日をもう一度繰り返してる。
新平、ミオのこと守っちゃってね。
待ってくれ、牛よ。
Are they hiding
fan
Kino
service?
fan service?
It is Kino fan service. Let me just say it is.
So summertime rendering. What's the website say? What does the Disney site say? What's the official translation for this?
Let
me.
I would say summertime render.
Summertime render.
That's what I'm calling it. Summertime render. Adaptation, which is, I guess that's what the manga.
Oh, it does say
says.
summertime rendering.
Oh.
Okay. Summertime Rendering is the 2022 anime series about a young man who is traveling back to an island to attend the funeral of a childhood friend, and he quickly becomes wrapped up in a mystical time-traveling adventure filled with intrigue and mysticism and gods and devils and action and adventure. And there's a little bit of mystery.
There's a little bit of mystery. It's also got hints of like a almost like a coming of age / slice of life type of show. There's like tidbits of that, and then there's also some spattering of some like comedic elements where you have like the characters going like and
there is a healthy dose of fan service, which I found both intriguing and off-putting. They're great,
given the general theme of
it was great to send photos back and forth with Alex being like, oh my god, episode 8, did you see this? And then that's funny, but in the grand scheme of the narrative, it did feel kind of off-putting. Didn't really fit the story.
But in the end, it was just kind of something that was kind of there to, it was, the story was progressing pretty smoothly as far, in my opinion, and this was just kind of like they put a little thing here to kind of keep you wondering like what's the next one going to be.
It definitely had the theme of here's something, here's the adventure, and something has happened at the last second of the episode, and now okay, I really want to watch the next one. It's a very bingeable series, which I'm shocked that Disney doesn't want to push this onto Disney Plus right away and get it's totally a bingeable show.
Yeah. I think it's what I think Disney has still some distribution rights to some Miyazaki stuff, but none of that stuff is on Disney Plus either.
No,
they don't.
Disney lost everything.
They lost all
it went to G Kids, has exclusive distribution, which I believe is streaming on HBO.
What isn't on HBO at this point? I feel like HBO has basically everything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. And some of it's like streaming in different countries and stuff like that. So
unless you have it on your, if you're somebody who doesn't really search stuff on the internet or use a VPN, you're probably not going to know that it's available because your current in-country streaming version.
G Kids replaced Disney for full catalog rights in 2017. Disney lost their. Looks like Ghibli declined to renew rights with Disney.
So does G Kids, is that like Ghibli Kids? Is that what it stands for?
I don't know what G Kids stands for, because as I believe G Kids also, I remember G Kids becoming notable when Ghost in the Shell 2 was released. I think that they did that. I know they do a lot of, they released Evangelion. I think G Kids existed before Ghibli acquisition. So I don't know where their name comes from.
Okay. It's just kind of a coincidence.
Coinkydink.
Yeah. But going on with that, the studio that made the anime series is called OLM Incorporated or OLM Digital, and their TV stuff is pretty interesting because majority of their stuff, they seem to do a lot of Pokemon. They did Beyblades, they've got Yokai Watch, they've got it looks like a bunch of like high school drama series, like sports type of things. A lot of like young kids collectible card game series and such like that. So them doing this new type of something that does not fit in with anything previous, like small kids anime like Pokemon, Professor Layton, although they did do like Gunsmith Cats.
A new one or the original one?
I think it's the original one. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, 95 to 96, the OVA.
What did you think about the quality of animation in this?
I would say pretty good.
I thought it was great. I mean,
it was definitely not like, because I know I think I just barely watched one episode of that Chainsaw Man, which I was like, oh hey, have you watched this? And you're like, it's got that cell shading look to it, which you're not too hip on and stuff. So that's kind of like one type of anime art style that exists now, and then this one is more of since it's all digital, this is the more closer resembling like the old school hand drawn type of thing, where you see like the hair outline, intersecting like the character's eyebrows and stuff like that, because it isn't like cleaned up or something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's I have no qualms with the animation quality.
Who's the company that got attacked? The studio they did K-On! Like Studio Kyoto Animation, something like that.
I think so. That was Kyoto Animation.
It reminded me of the look of their work. It had that kind of I don't know. It especially for a television series, it had a lot of detail in the animation, in the character design. Relatively fluid animation, and I was kind of if this had been a feature film, I wouldn't have felt like they specifically cut any corners. It had a very refined look to it, and I know that part of that is because it is digital animation, and maybe I haven't watched enough contemporary anime to, it's like, if this is what all of it looks like, maybe. But I've seen, it looked better than like Attack on Titan, which I watched parts of that last season, and I was like,
better than like the first season of Attack on Titan, or like the later,
the season that was just on. I watched parts of and was like, okay, I think that this looked better than that does. But no, I also, something I liked about it is because this is a time traveling series where things repeat. They did a good job of not feeling like you're wasting time in the repeats. It moves pretty briskly, so you don't do too much retreading. Yeah, because that can get very monotonous.
That's very hard to. Yeah, because there's even though it's time traveling, there is an element of I would say like Groundhog Day, where it just kind of reboots and everything happens again, but it's more like it reboots at a certain time within that day period. Because what is it like? He comes there on like July 22nd or something. It's like a week's worth of time in reality or something, or what? Yeah.
It keeps moving forward. I think the timeline keeps moving forward and doesn't wallow in the same events.
And the main character Shinpei, because we haven't mentioned the characters Shinpei, which it might be misconstrued for Shinji or Senpai or Shinpai.
These are problems you had with the name.
He can only jump back a certain amount of times until like the actual like cutoff for that time moving forward like passes him by if he tries to jump back, and then he like will cease to exist.
And they do a good job of sort of like Naruto, where they would give you like little diagrams explaining where he is and how the time travel's working. And so like for like the brainlets like me, I could be like, oh, okay, I get it.
But I mean, since we've only seen it one time, I could definitely say for myself, I'd probably revisit this anime, not anytime, in the immediate future, but maybe later on, maybe in the summertime, just because it's a series that like, if you watch it and you enjoy it, it would probably be beneficial to watch it a second time, just so that you can get a firmer grasp of how everything's working and everything goes on.
Have you ever watched an anime where you remember really liking it, but then if you stop and think about it, you can't really remember specific things that happened, or even necessarily
that made you
that like you don't remember like how it ended, like, you know what I mean, where you remember liking it, but you don't remember the specifics of the story or the characters, or maybe you remember moments but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about, this reminded me a bit of the anime Steins Gate. I don't know if you've ever watched Steins Gate.
No.
Because Steins Gate has a time travel element to it also, which like this, I shouldn't say an element. It's a time travel anime. Like that's what the main thrust is. And I remember really, really liking it, and now I don't remember anything about Steins Gate. But now I want to revisit it because of how much I enjoyed Summertime Render. Was there anything that you didn't like about it?
What didn't I care about this?
You can say no.
Not really. I can't really think that there was anything that like really stood out about it. Which is nice because also, while there's a lot of like time traveling and stuff like that, there's not like a massive cast of characters that you have to kind of keep track of and know who they are.
The characters are all
to kind of get
pretty well defined too. They in their sympathetic characters that you can really get behind. Like even ones, I guess we're gonna get into a little bit of spoilers. If you're gonna watch Summertime Render, jump to the time code or to the next chapter
or just listen to us.
Yeah.
Just listen to us.
Like there are characters that start off as being foes that become really good hero characters and very like characters that you start to like care about, and that the girl with the pink hair who's very kind of evil in one episode until she kind of finds the truth out about what's going on, and then she just becomes a total ally for the rest of the show, and a really fun, interesting character with her own urgency to why she wants the good guys to win too, you know. So that stuff is nice. And then the police officer who gets killed like 4 times in the show, he's a fun character. He's the kind of bumbling male officer sidekick guy.
I think it was like the first or second episode after like being introduced to him. I texted you and I was like, I really like this guy. And then later on, I'm like, why do you keep killing him over and over again?
Because he was borderline comedy relief. And then
which is funny too for a series like this, which the violence and killing is pretty graphic for a studio that's only primarily does Pokemon cartoons. You know,
and then the big busty Misato-esque character, where it's funny because all these Hizuru. It's funny that there's all these characters in these anime that follow that tough as nails, older female character. I'm like, I got shades of Misato from her. I got shades of
Kutsunagi.
Who's that? Kitsunagi.
Isn't that the majors from
Kusanagi? Kusanagi, Nagi Kirima from Boogie Pop Phantom. So like all these characters, these older female characters that are like the mean mommy archetype. That so she's fun. I liked her a lot. But this does kind of get into one spoiler thing that I didn't like about it, which is the anime ends with a full-time reset, which means from a like me just wanting a happy ending point of view, I'm happy. I like it, even if like all of the bonds are lost, which gives it kind of a melancholy feel. Like it's still a happy ending. But I also liked the heroic sacrifice of the characters and like
the finality.
Yeah,
that
like
comes
it just
with that.
kind of nullifies what the characters were willing to do to win. And so on one end, that makes the happy ending feel earned. On the other hand, it's like the stakes were all fake. So like when I'm crying on my couch at 2:00 in the morning because Hizuru got killed I was just like, I was an idiot. She wasn't dead. She's coming back in 8 episodes. It was gonna be fine. You know, so it's like it's like, I like stakes. I want the deaths to really matter,
to mean something.
That's my only real complaint with it. But it is still like a wistful growing up ending, which gives it its heart too. So that's
to get that type of ending, you need to have all those sacrifices, which. Yeah, I understand. It's just catch-22. It's like you can't have the happy ending without the sacrifices, but then the happy ending almost in a way, like nobody knows about the sacrifices really, because to them, like none of this stuff ever occurs because the whole time
it didn't stick. The sacrifices didn't stick. They all got a do-over. So, but overall, Alex, how many pots of gold do you think Summertime Render or Summertime Rendering should get? What do you give it?
I would go with 3 pots of gold on this. Primarily due to one, it's a competently made series with good characters. Every episode, as far as I could tell, had some sort of important point that needed to be accomplished instead of like a filler type of thing. Like even though there might have been like smaller things that were achieved or done by the characters, it still contributed to the overall general storyline. To conclude, animation itself, like we both said, it's good. You know, it's definitely like bingeable and such like that. You might run to the issue where it's like, 8 episodes after and you're like, I need to go to bed and get some sleep, but I want to see what's going to happen because I just finished this episode and Shinpei died again, which means there's going to be another jump and it's going to have to redo.
There's no good
things to do.
There's no good place to stop when you watch it. Once you get going, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, you can kind of be like, okay, let's go. All right. But then once it picks up, you're like, okay, I'm going to stop after the next one. Oh, I don't want to stop after the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like definitely after the, I don't want to say what episode it is, but it's the one where they have the battle at the, like the gymnasium, like the school, I think it was a school gymnasium. I think at that point, it's like, if you're not hooked by that point, then I don't really know.
I think that this falls into like what we've discussed before, where it's like a 4 episode. If you haven't gotten the gist of it and found something that you can latch onto by 4 episodes, I think most anime fall into that. Most TV shows probably do too.
Yeah, definitely anime. Yeah. Or you have like my issue where like the 4 issue thing, like the 4 episode thing, where like I've tried at least 4 times, maybe 4 times to try to do that with Black Lagoon, and everything when you look at it and how much positivity it gets from people online, it has all those bullet points that I definitely enjoy. It just doesn't fall for me. I guess it's just the way. Yeah, it just I guess maybe just the way it interconnects those for myself. It doesn't work, but this one.
There's anime like that for me that I've really tried to make my way through, and there's some that I forced myself through and then learned I should not do that, and that I can't. You really can't force yourself to like something.
Yeah, you didn't really. Yeah, in the end, you honestly didn't want to spend the time watching it, but all you can do is just check it off your list.
The one I'm thinking of right off the top of my head, this was only a 6 episode OVA, but Giant Robo was a series that I had started on like VHS in the 90s because it got good reviews, and I was like, really don't like the animation style, I'm not into it, and then tried to watch it again when I was an adult, and then was still thinking there has to be something here because everybody loves this. And then it was like, this sucked. I want my 6 hours.
Starting to like overanalyze it, and you're like, I'm wasting
what's
time.
wrong with me?
The heck with this? Yeah.
I agree. 3 pots of gold. Really fun anime. Really kind of rekindled some appreciation I have for the medium, because I haven't watched especially modern anime in quite a long time.
Yeah. Because this one itself, it aired like during the summer this past year.
Pretty new.
Yeah, very new. And like, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, maybe you and I enjoy more of the older stuff, not necessarily because we were younger at the time period when it was out and stuff, but maybe because there was a much smaller amount of it, and thus you're able to weed out the good from the bad, as opposed to now where it's like 10 times as much of that, and it just becomes a money printer go.
It's
kawaii.
It's overwhelming, I think, is the word that you were looking.
Yeah. Well, when you have like all, like you said, G Kids, and there's like Toei Animation, and you have Crunchyroll, and you have Funimation. Like, there's so many distributors, and there's so many things every single week that come out, and it's like it's just too difficult to even try to follow any.
Well, it's like we also used to just have to find out what to watch from a magazine. Now you can go out, you can just search in for summer 2022 anime, and you get a million lists of this is what you should be watching, and here's why, and here's what our editors think. And it's like, okay, this I just stumbled on 4chan. There was a thread, and people were like, somebody mentioned it, and then there's a response like 4 hours later that said, "So glad you plugged this because I got to watch a really special show." And I was like, I like special shows. I'm gonna check this out. And then I saw that it was like kind of controversial with Disney burying it.
Yeah, it's so, I don't know what, somebody in that department must have liked it and just kind of sent some paperwork through and been like, we should get the rights to this thing, but we can't show it here.
Because that's initially why I told Alex to watch it, was because he told me that he was going to watch Chainsaw Man.
I think that's the first train tonight.
He said he was going to watch Chainsaw Man, and I was like, no, watch this because you have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then it turned into it's not on Disney Plus. I'm like, the internet told me it was. Oh, it's only New Zealand.
Yeah. It's Disney Plus in like Oceania.
You got to get your VPN set up, man.
I know. I need to.
Captain VPN's kicking in the door. Captain or NordVPN man, whatever. I don't know what Internet Historian does.
Why does he have the letters FB and I on it?
Anyway, we've talked a lot tonight, Alex. It's probably about time to wrap up episode 405.
Yeah, episode 405. We're already 5 episodes deep into the season. We're
pretty consistent.
Firing on all
It's
cylinders.
easier to do one every other week as opposed to every single week.
Yeah, a lot more stuff to discuss and spread things out.
Yep.
So, also a lot easier to watch anime and stuff. So, but yeah, we had talked about Pornhub year in review. We talked about adventurous things that we did in our lives. We watched an actual good.
That's the biggest surprise
anime,
of all,
which is unheard of. Yeah, because we all know there's a lot of garbage out there. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us, listening if you were, watching us if you were also. If you have any emails, questions, or comments, send them to contact@culturedoom.com. There's also probably some comment section there on the YouTube.
Yeah, apparently if you leave a comment, it helps us. So please leave a comment.
Yeah.
Just because you don't even have to talk about the show. How is the weather where you are? I hope it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. How are the price of eggs in your neck of the woods? Yeah. Should we tell people to hit that smash?
We haven't done it yet.
Smash the like button and all that other stuff.
I think that we can get by without it. If you use the internet, if you use the YouTube, you know how this game works. Just saying, I appreciate a comment to it gets us a little bit more exposure. Yeah. Thank you.
Join our MySpace page.
All right, buddy.
All right. Anyways, on behalf of Brendan, this is Alex saying Dopabachinya. Until next time.